Most men assume that women go for older men purely because of money. But what if I told you that financial stability is just one small part of the equation? The real reasons are far more surprising, and they have nothing to do with gold digging. Women aren't just looking for a paycheck. They're drawn to something deeper, something psychological, something primal. If you've ever wondered why young, attractive women are often seen with men twice their age, you're about to find out. Because the truth is, older men have an edge that younger guys simply can't compete with. And once you understand why, you'll never look at attraction the same way again. Today, we're breaking down the 6 most shocking reasons why women are drawn to older men over their peers. And trust me, it's not just about financial security. There's something about these men that triggers an instinctual, almost automatic attraction, something most guys completely overlook. We're starting with reason number 6, which might seem minor at first. But as we work our way down to number 1, you'll see how everything connects, and why the last reason is the most powerful of them all. Stay with me until the end, because what you're about to learn will change the way you think about relationships forever. Reason number 6, lack of illusions. Most young men live in a fantasy. They believe in fairy tale romances, endless passion, and the idea that simply being a nice guy is enough to win a woman's heart. But here's the harsh truth: women aren't attracted to fantasy. They're drawn to reality. And older men? They've lived long enough to strip away the illusions that younger guys still cling to. Think about it. A young guy might believe that love alone can conquer all. An older man knows better. He understands that love, by itself, isn't enough. Stability, discipline, and control are what truly make a relationship last. A younger guy might think being overly romantic makes him more desirable. An older man knows that too much idealism is a weakness, not a strength. And here's where it gets interesting: women don't always realize they crave this kind of realism. On the surface, they might say they want a dreamer, a poet, someone who worships them. But deep down, they want a man who sees the world as it is and still stands strong within it. This is exactly why older men stand out. They don't get caught up in emotional games. They don't make empty promises. And most importantly, they don't let a woman's emotions dictate their actions. That level of certainty is rare. It's powerful. And women feel it. A woman doesn't want to be the one steering the ship. She wants a man who already knows where he's going. A man who has seen life for what it is, who has no illusions left to break, who doesn't crumble under pressure. That's the kind of man who is almost impossible to replace. But here's the key: just seeing reality isn't enough. If a man allows that reality to make him bitter, cold, or distant, he loses his edge. What truly makes older men attractive is their ability to accept reality without losing their strength. And that's something most young guys simply can't fake. And yet, this is just the beginning. The next reason is even more powerful. It's something that completely changes the way women experience relationships, and it's what separates strong men from those who sabotage their own attractiveness. Stay with me, because reason number 5 is where things really start to get interesting. Reason number 5, the ability to not get attached to the little things. Most men sabotage their own attractiveness without even realizing it. They argue over small things, get overly emotional, and let their egos turn minor issues into full-blown battles. But here's the thing: women are naturally drawn to men who don't get caught up in the nonsense. The less reactive you are, the more power you have in any relationship. Women don't want a man who's constantly jealous, picking fights, or needing endless reassurance. They want someone who stays calm, composed, and in control, no matter what happens. And that's exactly why older men have the advantage. Think about how most young guys react when they don't get an instant reply to a text. They overthink. They panic. They double text, maybe even call. But an older man? He doesn't even blink. He knows his worth. He's seen enough to understand that getting emotional over small things is a sign of weakness, not strength. Women respect men who can stay grounded. They don't want a guy who crumbles when things don't go his way. They want a man who handles stress, avoids unnecessary drama, and remains cool under pressure. And here's the kicker: women test men constantly. It's not even conscious. It's just part of their nature. They'll say something provocative just to see if you react. They'll bring up an ex, show interest in another guy, or act distant to see if you stay confident, or if you start chasing. Younger men fail these tests all the time. They get insecure. They react. They try to prove themselves. And the moment a woman senses she has control over a man's emotions, she starts losing attraction. Older men, on the other hand, don't get sucked into these games. They understand that a woman's emotions can be unpredictable, but that doesn't mean they have to be. They know how to pick their battles, when to walk away, and when to let things slide. And here's where it gets powerful: when a man doesn't react emotionally to every little thing, women feel safe around him. They trust him. They know that no matter what happens, he's not going to break down, throw a tantrum, or beg for validation. That kind of security is rare, and when a woman finds it, she doesn't want to let it go. Now, if you thought this was powerful, wait until you hear what's next. Because as much as women crave emotional stability, there's something even more primal, something that instantly makes a man stand out as a true leader. But before we move on, do me a favor: if you're getting value from this video, hit that like button. It helps the channel grow and lets me know you want more content like this. Subscribe if you haven't already, because we break down the real psychology behind attraction every single week. And let me know in the comments, have you ever noticed how women react differently to men who stay calm under pressure? Let's talk about it. Now, let's move on to reason number 4, and trust me, this one is a game changer. Reason number 4, courage and determination: why women are drawn to men who take charge. Most men believe that looks, money, or status are the keys to attraction. But what if I told you that none of those things matter as much as one simple trait? A trait that instantly separates weak men from strong men. That trait is courage, the ability to make decisions, take action, and stand by your choices no matter what. Women are naturally drawn to men who move with purpose. Men who don't hesitate. Men who aren't afraid to take responsibility. And this is exactly where older men dominate younger men in the dating game. Let's break it down. Younger guys often second-guess themselves. They hesitate before making a move. They're afraid of rejection, afraid of making the wrong decision, afraid of stepping up. And guess what? Women can sense that fear from a mile away. And nothing kills attraction faster than a man who's unsure of himself. But older men? They've already lived through failure. They've taken risks, made mistakes, and learned that hesitation is worse than making the wrong move. They've built the courage to act, and women feel that instantly. Think about it. Who would a woman rather be with? A young guy who can't decide where to take her on a date, keeps asking, "What do you want to do?" and constantly second-guesses himself? Or an older man who confidently makes decisions, takes control of the situation, and moves through life with certainty? The answer is obvious. Women don't want to be the leader in a relationship. They don't want to carry the emotional burden of making every decision. They want a man who takes the lead, who moves forward with confidence and purpose. And here's the crazy part: courage isn't just about making decisions. It's about how a man handles adversity. Life is full of challenges, obstacles, and unpredictable setbacks. And when things go wrong, women don't want a man who panics, complains, or plays the victim. They want a man who stays strong, adapts, and takes control of the situation. Older men have a natural advantage here because they've been through it all. Financial struggles, heartbreak, career setbacks, personal failures, you name it, they've faced it. And because they've survived those battles, they don't break under pressure the way younger men do. That unshakable confidence is like a magnet to women. This is why so many women say they feel safe with older men. It's not just about physical protection, it's about emotional security. A woman wants to know that no matter what happens, her man won't fold. And that's exactly what makes older men so attractive. Now, if you thought courage and determination were powerful, wait until you hear reason number 3. Because as much as women respect a man's strength, there's something they crave even more, something that goes beyond attraction and taps into their deepest instincts. Trust me, you won't want to miss this next one. Reason number 3, financial and social stability, why women seek security over chaos. Let's be brutally honest, money isn't everything, but it changes everything. Most young men believe that women only care about wealth, that they're just gold diggers looking for a fat bank account. But what if I told you that it's not about the money itself, it's about what money represents? Stability, control, security. And this is where older men have the edge. Think about it. Would a woman rather be with a young guy who's still figuring out his life, living paycheck to paycheck, drowning in uncertainty, or a man who already has his foundation set, who knows where he's going, and who isn't constantly stressed about survival? The answer is obvious. Women are wired to seek security. It's not about greed, it's about deep survival instincts that have been programmed into them for thousands of years. A man with stability isn't just attractive, he's necessary. But here's what most men fail to understand. It's not just about how much money you have, it's about how you carry yourself. A rich young guy who flaunts his wealth but lacks discipline and control is far less attractive than an older man who isn't flashy, but exudes quiet confidence and knows exactly how to handle his life. Older men don't need to prove anything. They've already built their lives. They've been through financial ups and downs, survived economic crashes, and learned how to manage their resources wisely. That kind of experience is rare, and women recognize it instantly. But financial stability is only half of the equation. Social stability is just as important. An older man isn't just financially independent, he has a network, influence, and a social presence that commands respect. And women are naturally drawn to men who are recognized and respected by others. Think about it. A young man is still trying to earn his place in the world. He's competing, proving himself, climbing the ladder. But an older man? He's already there. He knows his value, and the world recognizes it, too. And here's where it gets even more powerful. Women don't just want a man who has stability, they want a man who can provide stability for them, too. A woman wants to feel like her future is secure, that she's not gambling her life on a man who still hasn't figured himself out. And that's why older men win. They aren't reckless. They don't waste time. They move with purpose. And women feel that stability the moment they're around them. Now, if you thought financial and social stability were powerful, wait until you hear reason number 2. Because as much as women crave security, there's something even more irresistible, something that no amount of money can replace. And once you understand this next reason, you'll never look at attraction the same way again. Reason number 2, life experience, why women crave wisdom over naivete. There's a reason why women are drawn to men who have been through life's battles and come out stronger. It's not just about survival, it's about wisdom, depth, and an understanding of what truly matters. Most young guys are still figuring things out. They don't know what they want, they don't understand how relationships work, and they're still learning the hard way. They make mistakes, second-guess themselves, and act impulsively. But older men? They've already been through all of that. They've made mistakes, learned from them, and come out with a mindset that is unshakable. And here's where it gets interesting, women don't just want a partner. They want a guide. Someone who can help them navigate life, who can provide insights they wouldn't have figured out on their own. Think about it, who would a woman rather listen to? A young, inexperienced guy who gives advice based on emotions and guesswork? Or a man who has lived through failures, heartbreak, successes, and setbacks, who knows exactly how the world works and doesn't rely on theories, but real-life experience? The answer is obvious. Women naturally trust men who have seen more, lived more, and understand life on a deeper level. But here's where it gets even more powerful. Life experience doesn't just make a man wiser. It makes him less reactive, more patient, and emotionally in control. Younger guys tend to overreact. They get jealous too quickly, let emotions dictate their actions, and crumble when faced with tough decisions. But an older man? He stays calm. He analyzes. He knows when to act and when to let things go. And that kind of emotional control is magnetic to women. They feel safe, understood, and protected, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally. And here's another game-changing factor: an older man knows what truly matters in life. He doesn't waste time chasing meaningless things. He's confident in his decisions, he values what's real, and he's focused on what actually brings long-term happiness. Women respect that. They admire it. And they desire it more than anything. But here's the crazy part: as powerful as life experience is, there's still one thing that ranks even higher. One thing that overrides everything else and makes older men completely irresistible to women. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about next. The number one most shocking reason why women are drawn to older men. Trust me, you won't want to miss this one. Reason number one: emotional stability, the ultimate trait that makes older men irresistible. Here's the truth most young guys don't want to hear: women don't want to be your therapist. They don't want to deal with emotional outbursts, insecurity, or a man who falls apart under pressure. What they want is emotional stability, a man who is in control, no matter what happens. And this is where older men completely dominate younger men. Most young guys are still riding an emotional roller coaster. They overreact when something goes wrong, get jealous too easily, and let their feelings dictate their actions. And guess what? Women can sense that instability instantly, and it's a massive turnoff. Because here's the shocking truth: attraction isn't just about excitement. It's about safety. A woman may enjoy a young guy's energy, but if she feels like she has to constantly manage his emotions, she will lose respect for him. Older men, on the other hand, have already been through life's challenges. They've experienced setbacks, heartbreaks, failures, and disappointments, but they've learned how to handle them without losing control. They don't break down over minor things. They don't act impulsively. They don't let emotions rule their decision-making. And women find that irresistible. Why? Because emotional stability means a woman can relax around you. She doesn't have to worry about walking on eggshells or constantly reassuring you. She knows that no matter what happens, you'll handle it like a man. Think about it: who would a woman rather be with? A guy who loses his temper over small things, gets jealous easily, and constantly seeks validation? Or a man who remains calm under pressure, handles conflict with confidence, and never lets emotions cloud his judgment? The answer is obvious. Women don't just want emotional stability, they need it. It's what allows them to feel safe, secure, and fully feminine. When a man is strong, stable, and unshaken, it frees a woman to be her best self. And here's the best part: emotional stability doesn't just make you more attractive to women. It makes you a stronger, more respected man in every area of life. Now, let's take everything we've covered and tie it all together. Because while all these traits make older men more attractive, there's one final lesson that can change the way you approach relationships forever. And once you understand this final piece of the puzzle, you'll never look at attraction the same way again. So, what have we learned? Women aren't just attracted to older men because of money or status. They're drawn to something deeper: emotional stability, life experience, confidence, and a sense of direction. Older men don't waste time with petty drama. They don't seek constant validation. They don't let emotions control them. They lead. They protect. They bring certainty in a world full of uncertainty. And that's why women crave them. But here's the best part: you don't have to be older to develop these traits. If you start applying these principles now, you can become the kind of man that commands respect and attraction at any age. If you found value in this video, hit that like button. It helps the channel grow and lets me know you want more content like this. Subscribe for more deep insights on attraction, and drop a comment below. What trait do you think is the most powerful? Let's talk about it. Until next time, stay strong, stay focused, and keep leveling up.